Dr. Amanda Carter stared at the holographic display floating above her desk, her coffee growing cold as she studied the star charts for the third time that morning. Something was wrong with the maps, but she could not put her finger on what exactly bothered her about them. The research vessel Horizon's Edge hummed quietly around her as it traveled through space toward the Outer Rim territories. Amanda had been studying alien navigation charts for the past 6 months, comparing how different species mapped the galaxy. It was routine work, the kind that most people found boring, but Amanda loved finding patterns in data. That was why the empty space bothered her so much. Every single alien star chart showed the same thing when it came to human territory, where Earth and the hundreds of human colonies should be marked. There was nothing, just blank space with strange symbols that her translation programs could not decode properly. The symbols were old, really old, written in languages that had been dead for thousands of years. Amanda pulled up another chart, this one from the Zephyrian Trade Federation. The Zephyrians were known throughout the galaxy for their detailed maps. They marked every trade route, every space station, every asteroid worth mining. But when their maps reached human space, they just stopped. The trade routes curved around. The area like water flowing around a rock. She switched to a Corvin military chart. The Corvin Empire was aggressive and expansionist. They had conquered dozens of star systems in the past century and were always looking for new territories to claim. Their maps showed detailed invasion plans for systems hundreds of light years away. But human space was marked only with a single word that translated roughly to forbidden. The door to her lab slid open, and Captain Jake Morrison walked in, carrying a steaming mug of coffee. He was a big man with graying hair and kind eyes, the sort of captain that crews respected and followed without question. "Working late again, Amanda?" he asked, settling into the chair across from her desk. "Jake, look at this," Amanda said, waving her hand to change the holographic display. "I have been studying alien star charts for months now, and they all show the same pattern." Captain Morrison leaned forward, squinting at the floating images. "They look like normal maps to me." "That is exactly the problem," Amanda said, her voice getting excited the way it always did when she found something interesting. "Look here." She pointed to the area where human space should be. "This is where Earth is located. This is where our colonies are. But according to every alien map I have found, this entire region is empty space." "Maybe they just have not explored that area yet," Morrison suggested, though he sounded doubtful. Amanda shook her head. "Jake, some of these maps are over 2,000 years old. The Drift clans have been wandering the galaxy for millennia, mapping everything they find. They have detailed charts of nebulae on the other side of the galaxy, but nothing for human space. How is that possible?" Morrison was quiet for a moment, studying the charts more carefully. "What are you thinking, Amanda?" "I am thinking that either we live in the most dangerous part of the galaxy and no one has ever told us, or someone has been working very hard to keep our location secret." Amanda pulled up another display showing shipping routes. "Look at this. Zephyrian trade ships travel all over the galaxy, but their routes avoid human space by at least 50 light years. 50 light years, Jake. That is a huge detour for ships carrying valuable cargo." "Have you talked to anyone else about this?" Morrison asked. "I mentioned it to Ben Collins yesterday. He thinks I am seeing patterns that are not really there." Amanda sighed and rubbed her eyes. "Maybe he is right. Maybe. I have been staring at these charts for too long." Morrison stood up and walked over to the display, studying it from different angles. "Show me the Corvin charts again." Amanda brought up the military maps from the Corvin Empire. Morrison had fought against Corvin raiders earlier in his career, and knew how they thought. Corvins were not the type to avoid a fight or leave territory unexplored. "This does not make sense," Morrison said after a few minutes. "Corvins map everything. They have invasion plans for systems they probably will never even visit. But human space is marked as forbidden? Why would they mark empty space as forbidden?" "That is what I want to know," Amanda said. "What?" "And it is not just the Corvans. I found similar markings on charts from 12 different species. Some of them have never even had contact with each other, but they all avoid the same region of space." Morrison sat back down, looking troubled, What do you want to do about it? I want to dig deeper. Ben Collins has access to the ship's communication arrays. Maybe we can intercept some alien transmissions and see if anyone ever talks about human space. Amanda paused, knowing that what she was about to suggest might make Morrison uncomfortable. I also want to look at our own historical records, the classified ones. Amanda, I cannot give you access to classified files without a good reason. I think this is a good reason, Jake. If there is something about human space that scares every other species in the galaxy, do not we have a right to know what it is? Morrison was quiet for a long time, staring at the star charts floating between them. Finally, he nodded. All right, but we keep this quiet for now. I do not want to start a panic over something that might have a simple explanation. Thank you, Amanda said, feeling a mix of excitement and worry. I will start with the communication intercepts. Ben should be able to help me set up passive monitoring without anyone noticing. After Morrison left, Amanda sat alone in her lab, staring at the maps. The empty space where human territory should be seemed to stare back at her like a huge question mark. She had always believed that humans were just another species in the galaxy, maybe a little younger than most, but not really special. An idea that something about human space scared. Other species was both thrilling and terrifying. She pulled up her personal files and began writing a research proposal. If she was going to investigate this properly, she needed to document everything. She started with the basic facts, the consistent absence of human space on alien maps, the avoidance patterns and trade routes, and the forbidden markings on military charts. As she wrote, Amanda began to realize just how strange humanity's position in the galaxy really was. Humans had been part of the Galactic Council for almost 300 years. They traded with dozens of species, participated in diplomatic missions, and even fought alongside aliens in various conflicts. But somehow, no alien species had ever produced an accurate map of human territory. The more she thought about it, the more questions arose. How had first contact with aliens really happened? The official history said that Earth had been discovered by Zephyrian explorers who were impressed by human achievements and invited them to join galactic civilization. But if Zephyrian maps showed human space as empty, how had the explorers found Earth in the first place? Amanda pulled up the official first contact records and began reading through them carefully. The story seemed straightforward enough. A Zephyrian science vessel had detected unusual energy signatures coming from the Sol system and investigated. They found Earth, made peaceful contact with humans, and within a few years, humanity had joined the galactic community. But something about the story felt wrong. Energy signatures that could be detected from outside the solar system would have required technology far beyond what Earth possessed 300 years ago. And why would a single science vessel investigate unknown energy signatures alone? Most species sent military escorts when exploring potentially dangerous phenomena. Amanda made a note to ask Ben about intercepting Zephyrian communications. If the official story was incomplete, maybe the aliens themselves would provide some answers. She was about to close the files when something caught her eye. At the bottom of the first contact report, there was a reference to something called Project Lighthouse. The reference was brief and gave no details, but it suggested that humanity had activated some kind of defense system during the initial contact with the Zephyrians. Amanda tried to access more information about Project Lighthouse, but the files were classified at a level far above her security clearance. Whatever Project Lighthouse was, someone considered it important enough to keep secret even 3 centuries later. As she finally prepared to leave her lab, Amanda looked one more time at the alien star charts floating above her desk. The empty space where human territory should be seemed larger now, more ominous. Whatever secret humanity was keeping, it was big enough to make the entire galaxy look the other way. Tomorrow, she would start getting answers. Ben Collins was waiting for Amanda in the communication center when she arrived the next morning. He was a thin man with quick hands and even quicker eyes. He's the kind of person who could make technology do things that the manual said were impossible. "Told me about your map problem," Ben said without looking up from his console. "I have been running passive scans all night, picking up alien chatter from ships passing through this sector." "Find anything interesting?" Amanda asked, settling. Into the chair beside him? Maybe, Ben said, pulling up a recording on his screen. This is from a Corvin transport ship that passed through here about 6 hours ago. Listen to this part. The recording crackled with static, then alien voices speaking in the harsh tones of the Corvin language. Amanda's translation implant kicked, in converting the words into English. Navigation officer to captain. We are approaching the buffer zone. Maintain course around the restricted area. Do not deviate from approved shipping lanes. Captain, the cargo manifest shows we could save 2 days by cutting through the dead zone. Negative. Standing orders from Fleet Command. No Corvon vessel enters the Terran boundary under any circumstances. The recording ended and Ben looked at Amanda with raised eyebrows. Terran boundary. That is what they call human space. And notice how the navigation officer called it a dead zone, but the captain called it restricted. Those are two very different things. Amanda felt a chill run down her spine. Play it again. They listened to the recording 3 more times. Each time, Amanda caught new details that made her more worried. The Corvin captain had sounded genuinely afraid when he mentioned the standing orders. Corvins were not known for being afraid of anything. I intercepted something else too, Ben said, bringing up another file. This one is from a Drift Clan ship. The Drift Clans are nomads who travel everywhere, right? Well, listen to this. The second recording was in a completely different language, spoken by beings whose voices sounded like wind chimes. The translation was rougher, but the meaning was clear enough. Elder, the young ones ask again about the singing void. Tell them what I have always told them. Some places in the galaxy are not meant for us. The singing void calls to those who hear it, but those who answer never return to tell what they found. But the void has been quiet for many seasons now. Perhaps it is safe to explore. No, the quiet times are when it is most dangerous. When the void sings, we know where the danger is. When it is quiet, we know the danger is watching. Ben stopped the recording and looked at Amanda. Singing void. It has to be human space, right? And they talk about it like it is some kind of living thing. Amanda was quiet for a moment, thinking. About what she had heard? Ben, how long have you been monitoring alien communications? About 5 years, ever since I joined the crew. Why, in all that time, have you ever heard any alien species talk about visiting human space? Or even mention human colonies by name? Ben thought about it, then shook his head slowly. No, now that you mention it. They talk about trading with humans, but always at neutral stations or alien worlds. I've never heard anyone mention actually going to a human planet. That is because they do not, said a new voice from behind them. Amanda and Ben turned to see Dr. Lisa Hayes standing in the doorway. Lisa was the ship's historian, a small woman with silver hair and sharp eyes who knew more about galactic history than anyone Amanda had ever met. Lisa, how long have you been standing there? Amanda asked. It's long enough to hear your recordings, Lisa said, walking over to join them. Jake told me about your research, Amanda. Think I can help you understand what you are finding, but you are not going to like it. What do you mean? Ben asked. Lisa pulled up a chair and sat down heavily, like someone carrying a great weight. I've been studying human history for 30 years. Not just the official records, but the classified files that most people never see. Jake gave me permission to share some things with you, but only because what you have discovered could be dangerous if you do not understand it properly. Amanda felt her heart start beating faster. Dangerous how? Tell me, what do you know about humanity's first contact with alien species? Lisa asked. The standard story, Amanda said. Zephyrian explorers detected energy signatures from Earth. About 300 years ago, they investigated, made peaceful contact, and invited us to join galactic civilization. Lisa nodded grimly. That is the story everyone knows, but it is not the whole truth. She paused, looking at both of them carefully. What I am about to tell you is classified at the highest levels. The real first contact did not happen with the Zephyrians. It happened with a species called the hegemony of Keth. Ben frowned. I have never heard of them. Most people have not, Lisa said. The Keth were the dominant power in this part of the galaxy for over 2,000 years. They controlled more than 1,000 star systems and had subjugated dozens of species. They were everything that the Galactic Council claims to stand against. aggressive, expansionist, and utterly ruthless. What happened to them? Amanda asked, though she was starting to suspect she did not want to know the answer. They made the mistake of trying to conquer humanity, Lisa said quietly. In 2387, a Keth battle fleet arrived at Earth, demanding immediate surrender. It had done the same thing to hundreds of other worlds over the centuries. It had always worked before. Lisa activated the holographic display and brought up a star chart that Amanda had never seen before. It showed the local galactic arm as it had existed 300 years ago, with the hegemony of Keth marked in red across vast stretches of space. This is what the galaxy looked like when the Keth arrived at Earth, Lisa continued. They controlled everything within 500 light-years of human space. Earth was supposed to be just another conquest, another species to add to their empire. But obviously that did not happen, Ben said. No, it did not, Lisa agreed. According to the classified records, something called Project Lighthouse was activated when the Keth fleet entered the Sol system. I do not have access to the technical details, but the results speak for themselves. Lisa changed the display to show the same region of space 6 months later. The red areas marking Keth territory had shrunk dramatically, pulling back from human space like a retreating tide. Within 6 months, the entire hegemony of Keth had withdrawn from 1,000 light-year radius around Earth, Lisa said. They abandoned colonies they had held for centuries, left behind infrastructure worth more than most civilizations produce in a lifetime, and never explained why. Amanda stared at the display, trying to process what she was hearing. They just left. All of them? All of them, Lisa confirmed. And not just from the area around Earth. The Keth abandoned their expansionist policies entirely. Within a decade, their empire had collapsed from internal rebellions. The species that had dominated this part of the galaxy for 2 millennia simply faded away. What does this have to do with the blank spots on alien maps? Ben asked. Lisa brought up another file. This one showing intercepted alien communications from the period after the Keth withdrawal. This is where it gets really interesting. After the Keth disappeared, other species started avoiding human space. 2, not because anyone told them to, but because the Keth had left behind warnings. She activated an audio file, and they heard voices speaking in an ancient alien language. The translation appeared as text on the screen. The Keth spoke of humans as sleepers who should not be awakened. They said that what they found in the Terran system was not a primitive species ready for conquest, but something far older and more dangerous than they had ever encountered. They left warnings carved into abandoned stations throughout their former territory, Lisa continued. Warnings that roughly translate to "Here lie those who dream of fire, and do not wake the children of the Void Singers." Amanda felt cold despite the warm air in the communication center. Void Singers. The Drift clans called human space the Singing Void. Exactly, Lisa said. The warnings spread from species to species over the centuries. Not as official policy, but as folklore, superstition, cultural memory. Each generation of aliens grew up hearing stories about the mysterious humans who had somehow destroyed the mighty Keth without ever leaving their home system. But that is impossible, Ben protested. 300 years ago, humans barely had space travel. Certainly did not have weapons that could threaten an interstellar empire. Lisa looked at him with sad eyes. That is what makes it so terrifying from an alien perspective. The Keth were not destroyed by superior technology or military might. According to their final transmissions, they encountered something at Earth that they described as incomprehensibly vast and patient. Something that convinced them that humanity was not what it appeared to be. What did they find? Amanda asked, though she was not sure she wanted to know. I do not know, Lisa admitted. The Project Lighthouse files are classified beyond my clearance level. But I can tell you this. Whatever the Keth discovered, it was enough to make them abandon their empire rather than risk provoking humanity further. The three of them sat in silence for several minutes, looking at the star charts and listening to the quiet hum of the ship around them. Finally, Amanda spoke. The blank spots on alien maps are not just empty space. Amanda barely slept that night. Every time she closed her eyes, She saw the star charts with their empty spaces and heard the alien voices speaking about humans with fear and reverence. When morning came, she was already dressed and waiting in the corridor outside Lisa's quarters. "I expected you would be here early," Lisa said when she opened her door. "Are you ready to see what Project Lighthouse really was?" "I have been ready since yesterday," Amanda replied. Lisa led her through the ship's corridors to a section Amanda had never visited before. It was deeper inside the vessel, behind doors that required special security codes. They stopped at a console that looked different from the standard ship equipment, older somehow, with symbols that Amanda did not recognize. "What is this place?" Amanda asked. "Emergency Command Center," Lisa said, entering a long series of codes into the console. "Every human ship has one, but most crews never know about it. The centers are connected to a network that spans all of human space." The console came to life, displaying information in a language that looked almost like English, but was different enough to be confusing. Lisa worked quickly, her fingers dancing across controls that seemed to respond to her touch, in ways that defied normal technology. "Lisa, how do you know how to use this?" Amanda asked. "'Cause I am not just the ship's historian," Lisa said without looking up. "I am also a member of something called the Perimeter Guard. We monitor the boundaries of human space and maintain certain secrets that keep our species safe." Amanda felt her world shift again. "You have been lying to me." "Not lying," Lisa said, "protecting. But given what you have discovered on your own, the Guard has decided it is time to bring you into the truth." She finished entering commands and stepped back. "Amanda, what you are about to see will change everything you think you know about humanity and our place in the galaxy." The display activated, showing a three-dimensional map of human space. But this was not like any map Amanda had seen before. Instead of showing planets and star systems, it showed something else entirely. Massive structures, each one larger than a moon, positioned at regular intervals along the edges of human territory. "What are those?" Amanda whispered. "Installation sites," Lisa said. "There are over 300 of them, forming a complete barrier around human space. They have been there for thousands of years, long before modern human civilization existed." Amanda stared at the display, trying to understand what she was seeing. Installations were enormous, each one clearly artificial, but built with technology that looked far beyond anything humans currently possessed. "Who built them?" she asked. "We did," Lisa said quietly. "But not the humans, you know. These installations were built by our ancestors, a human civilization that existed millions of years ago. They achieved something called technological transcendence, becoming beings of pure energy and consciousness. Before they departed for higher dimensions of existence, they left these installations as guardians for their younger siblings." "Us," Amanda said, understanding beginning to dawn. As Lisa confirmed. "The installations have been protecting human space for eons, operating automatically, waiting for the day when modern humanity would develop space travel and need active protection." Lisa changed the display to show energy readings from the installations. When the Keth fleet arrived at Earth 300 years ago, the installations detected the threat and activated Project Lighthouse. The project was not something humans created, Amanda. It was something our transcended ancestors left for us to use when we needed it. "What did it do to the Keth?" Amanda asked. "Showed them the truth," Lisa said. "The installations do not just protect human space with weapons or shields. They protect it by revealing what humanity really is to anyone who threatens us." The Keth saw the installations activate, saw the technology that our ancestors left behind, and realized they were not facing a primitive species but the children of beings who had achieved godlike power. Amanda walked closer to the display, studying the massive structures. So when the Keth retreated, they were not running from current humanity. They were running from what humanity used to be and might become again. "Exactly," Lisa said. "And the installations have been working ever since to maintain that illusion. They project false signals that make human space appear empty or dangerous to alien sensors. They influence the thoughts of alien explorers who get too close, filling them with feelings of unease and the desire to turn away. They even alter the gravitational signatures of human systems to make them appear uninhabitable. The blank spots on the maps, Amanda said, understanding flooding through her. The installations make our space invisible to alien cartographers. More than invisible, Lisa said. Irrelevant. When aliens look at star charts that should show human space, their minds simply skip over that area. They see empty void and feel no curiosity about exploring it. The installations have been protecting us by making the entire galaxy ignore us. Amanda thought about all the alien communications Ben had intercepted, all the trade routes that avoided. Human space, all the military maps that marked their territory as forbidden. But some aliens know we exist. We trade with them, fight alongside them, serve on the Galactic Council. Because the installations allow controlled contact, Lisa explained. When an alien species reaches a certain level of technological development, the installations evaluate whether they can be safely introduced to humanity. If so, they arrange for what appears to be accidental discovery. The Zephyrian explorers who found Earth were not exploring randomly. They were guided there by the installations, once the perimeter guard determined that the Zephyrians could be trusted. The perimeter guard, Amanda repeated. How many humans know about this? A few thousand, Lisa said. If people throughout human space, monitoring the installations, managing first contact situations, and making sure that no alien species ever learns the full truth about what protects us. The display changed again, showing personnel files. Amanda saw photos of men and women she did not recognize, but their titles made her understand the scope of the operation. Installation engineers, perception specialists, diplomatic monitors, historical archivists. There are guard members embedded in every human organization that deals with aliens, Lisa continued. Trade negotiators who make sure that alien merchants never ask too many questions about human supply lines. Military officers who ensure that alien allies never request to visit human planets. Scientists who guide alien research away from technologies that might penetrate the installation's concealment fields. This is massive, Amanda said, feeling overwhelmed. We were talking about a conspiracy that involves thousands of people and has been running for centuries. Not a conspiracy, Lisa corrected. A necessity. Amanda, do you know how many alien species exist in this galaxy? Official count is over 12,000. Try 40,000, Lisa said. And most of them are more advanced than current humanity. Without the installation's protection, human space would have been conquered and occupied dozens of times over the past 3 centuries. The only reason we exist as an independent species is because 40,000 civilizations think we are either too dangerous to approach or too insignificant to bother with. Amanda sat down heavily in a nearby chair, trying to process everything she had learned. So humanity's reputation as peaceful explorers and skilled diplomats is all an act? It's not an act, Lisa said. We really are peaceful and diplomatic. That is because we can afford to be. When you are protected by technology that makes God seem primitive, it is easy to be generous and cooperative with your neighbors. What about human achievements? Amanda asked. Our science, our art, our contributions to galactic civilization? All real, Lisa assured her. The installations do not make us smarter or more creative. They just keep us safe while we develop. Naturally. Everything humans have accomplished, we accomplished on our own. The display changed to show real-time monitoring data from the installation network. Amanda could see energy patterns, sensor readings, and what looked like status reports in that strange, almost English language. The installations are active right now? She asked. They never stop, Lisa said. Every second of every day, they are monitoring thousands of alien ships, adjusting perception fields, and maintaining the illusion that keeps us safe. And lately, they have been working harder than usual. What do you mean? Lisa pulled up a new set of readings that showed increasing activity levels across multiple installations. Over the past year, we have detected more and more attempts by alien species to penetrate the perimeter of human space. Some of them are using new scanning technologies that our ancestors could not have anticipated. The installations are adapting, but it is becoming more difficult to maintain complete concealment. Are we in danger? Amanda asked. Not immediate danger, Lisa said. But the situation is changing. There are alien governments that have begun asking questions about human population numbers, military capabilities, and economic output. They are starting to notice inconsistencies between what humans claim about themselves and what their own intelligence services can verify. Amanda thought about the Corvin recording Ben had intercepted, how the captain had mentioned standing orders to avoid human space. Some of them already suspect something. The orders came at exactly 0800 hours the next morning, just as Lisa had predicted. Captain Morrison gathered the senior staff in the briefing room and announced that they would be changing course to investigate unusual HLCR readings near the edge of human space. Amanda sat quietly during the meeting, watching Morrison's face as he read from the official orders. She could see the tension in his eyes, the way he avoided looking directly at her, or Lisa. He knew more than he was saying. But he was following the script that the perimeter guard had given him. The energy readings are consistent with gravitational anomalies, Morrison said, his voice carefully neutral. Command wants us to investigate and file a complete report within 72 hours. Ben raised his hand. Captain, that region is marked as a navigation hazard on most charts. Are we sure it is safe to approach? The science team will maintain safe distance protocols, Morrison replied. Dr. Carter will lead the investigation with full support from the engineering department. After the meeting, Amanda followed Lisa back to her quarters. The historian was packing a small bag with equipment that Amanda had never seen before. What is all that? Amanda asked. Interface gear, Lisa said, holding up a device that looked like a headband made of metal and crystal. The installations respond to human genetic markers, but they also require proper authorization codes. These devices let us communicate directly with the installation's AI systems. AI systems? The installations are not just machines, Amanda. They have consciousness, personality, memories that span millions of years. When we arrive at Installation 7, you will be talking to a being that remembers our transcended ancestors as if they left yesterday. 3 hours later, Amanda stood on the bridge, watching the main display as they approached their destination. At first, she saw nothing but empty space and distant stars. Then the sensors began picking up gravitational distortions that defied explanation. Captain, called the navigation officer, I am reading massive gravitational fields ahead, but there is nothing on visual sensors. Reduce speed to 1/4 impulse, Morrison ordered. Amanda, you are up. Amanda moved to the science station and began running deep scans of the area ahead. What she found made her hands shake as she worked the controls. The gravitational readings showed something enormous directly in front of them, something with a mass larger than most moons, but their optical sensors showed only empty space. Lisa, she whispered, it is right there. I can measure it, but I cannot see it. That is because it does not want to be seen, Lisa said, moving to stand beside her. Installation 7. This is Dr. Lisa Hayes aboard the research vessel Horizons. Edge. We request permission to approach. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the empty space in front of them began to shimmer like heat waves rising from hot pavement. The shimmer grew stronger, and slowly, impossibly, a structure began to appear. Amanda gasped and took a step backward. Installation 7 was bigger than anything she had ever imagined. It stretched for hundreds of kilometers in every direction. A complex arrangement of crystalline towers and metallic spheres connected by bridges of pure energy. The entire structure pulsed with a soft blue light that seemed to come from within the materials themselves. My God, she whispered. Your ancestors, Lisa corrected gently. The installation's AI spoke directly into their minds, its voice like music made of starlight. Welcome, children of the ancient lines. I am 7, guardian of the outer reaches, keeper of the watching. Silence. Dr. Hayes, you bring a new candidate for the truth bearers. I do, Lisa replied out loud. Dr. Amanda Carter has discovered much on her own. She needs to understand her heritage and choose her path, Amanda Carter, the AI said. And Amanda felt its attention focus on her like a warm spotlight. Your questions about the empty spaces have led you to the threshold of understanding. Are you prepared to cross it? I think so, Amanda said, her voice barely audible. Think is not sufficient, Seven replied. The knowledge I carry has weight that can crush unprepared minds. You must be certain, or you must turn away now. Amanda looked around the bridge at her crewmates. Ben was staring at the installation with his mouth open. Morrison was watching her with worried eyes. Lisa nodded encouragingly. I'm certain, Amanda said more firmly. Then come aboard, Seven said. But know that once you learn what I will teach you, you can never unknow it. You will carry the burden of truth for all your days. A beam of light extended from the installation to their ship, creating a bridge of solid energy that connected the two vessels. Lisa gestured for Amanda to follow her, and together they walked across the impossible bridge into the heart of installation. 7. The interior of the installation was even more amazing than the outside. They walked through corridors that seemed to be made of crystallized time itself, past chambers filled with swirling galaxies of light that Amanda somehow knew contained the memories of her transcended ancestors. 7 manifested as a human-shaped figure made of the same blue light that filled the installation. The AI was tall and graceful, with features that seemed familiar yet alien at the same time. You wonder about our appearance, 7 said, noticing Amanda's stare. We were designed by your ancestors to be comfortable to human eyes, but we are not copies of any individual. We are what humanity might become if it chose the path of technological unity rather than transcendence. They entered a vast chamber filled with displays showing star maps, energy readings, and what looked like surveillance footage from thousands of different locations throughout the galaxy. Amanda realized she was looking at a monitoring station that kept watch over the entire known universe. This is what we do, 7 said, gesturing to the displays. We watch, we listen, we protect. For millions of years, we have maintained the boundaries that keep humanity safe while it grows and learns and slowly approaches. The potential that your ancestors achieved. The potential for transcendence, Amanda said. Perhaps 7 replied. Or perhaps for something entirely different. Your ancestors chose to become beings of pure consciousness, leaving behind physical existence. But that is not the only path available to an advanced species. Humanity may choose differently when the time comes. Amanda walked among the displays, watching alien ships moving through space, listening to communications in dozens of languages, seeing the vast web of galactic civilization that existed beyond human space. How many species know about the installations? She asked. None know the complete truth, 7 said. Some suspect that humanity is protected by advanced technology. Others believe you are dangerous for reasons they cannot understand. A few have theories about ancient guardians or transcended beings, but none have the full picture that you are now receiving. What would happen if they learned the truth? 7's expression became sad. Depends on the species and the circumstances. Some would withdraw even further from human space, out of increased fear. Others might try to form alliances with humanity, hoping to gain access to our technology. The most dangerous would attempt to find and destroy the installations, believing that removing our protection would make humanity vulnerable to conquest. Lisa stepped forward, show her the Nexary probe. 7 nodded and activated a new display. Amanda saw a sleek alien vessel moving slowly through space near the edge of human territory. Unlike the ships in the other surveillance feeds, this one was clearly scanning everything around it with sophisticated sensor arrays. The Nexari Republic has developed new scanning technology, 7 explained. Their deep space probes can partially penetrate our concealment fields. This particular probe has been mapping the gravitational anomalies that mark our positions. Amanda studied the probe's course and felt her heart sink. It is going to find you. Eventually, yes, 7 confirmed. We estimate that within 6 months, the Nexari will have enough data to prove that the gravitational anomalies around human space are artificial constructs. Once they reach that conclusion, other species will begin asking questions that we may not be able to deflect. So what do we do? Amanda asked. We adapt, Lisa said. Installations have defensive capabilities that we have never had to use, but they exist if needed. We also have contingency plans for gradually revealing limited truths to selected alien governments while maintaining the larger deception, 7 said quietly. We consider the possibility that the time for hiding is coming to an end. Amanda looked at the AI in surprise. What do you mean? Your ancestors left us with instructions for many scenarios, including eventual revelation of our existence. They believed that humanity would eventually grow strong enough to stand openly in the galaxy without our protection. Perhaps that time is approaching. But you've said most alien species are more advanced than current humanity, Amanda protested. More advanced in some ways, Seven corrected. But advancement is not just about technology. Your species has qualities that many others lack: adaptability, creativity, the ability to find common ground with radically different forms of life. In the 3 centuries since humanity joined galactic civilization, you have become mediators, explorers, and bridge builders between species that had never been able to cooperate before. Seven activated another display showing diplomatic summits, trade negotiations, and joint scientific ventures. 2 weeks after Amanda's visit to Installation 7, the crisis that everyone had been dreading finally arrived. She was working in the ship's new perimeter, guard command center, when alarms began sounding throughout the installation network. Multiple contacts approaching the outer perimeter, reported Commander Sarah Davis from her monitoring station. Nexari Republic ships moving in formation toward Installation 12. Amanda looked at the tactical display and felt her stomach drop. 5 Nexari vessels were moving deliberately toward one of the installations, their scanning arrays active and focused. These were not random explorers stumbling into human space. They knew something was there, and they were coming to investigate. Long before they reached detection range, asked Director Paul Grant, the senior perimeter guard officer who had arrived on the horizon's edge the day before. 18 hours at their current speed, Sarah replied. But sir, their scans are already detecting gravitational anomalies. They know something big is hiding out there. Amanda watched the alien ships moving across the display and realized that this was the moment Seven had warned her about. The time for hiding was ending, whether humanity was ready or not. What are our options? She asked. We could activate the installations, defensive systems, Grant said grimly. Installation 12 has weapons that could destroy those ships before they ever knew what hit them. But if Nexari vessels disappear near human space, it will cause exactly the kind of investigation we are trying to avoid. We could strengthen the concealment fields, suggested Ben, who had also been brought into the guard after Amanda's recruitment. Make the installation completely invisible to their scans. Their new scanning technology is too advanced, Sarah said, shaking her head. We could hide the installation's true size and capabilities, but we cannot make it disappear entirely. They will detect something, and they will keep investigating until they find answers. Amanda stared at the display, thinking about everything Seven had told her about humanity's potential and the choices they would soon have to make. An idea began forming in her mind, crazy and dangerous, but possibly the only way forward. If we do not try to hide from them, she said slowly. Everyone in the command center turned to look at her. Grant frowned. What do you mean? What if we let them find Installation 12, but we control what they find when they get there? Amanda continued, her voice growing more confident as the plan took shape in her mind. We could present them with a version of the truth that satisfies their curiosity without revealing everything, explained, Grant said. Amanda moved to the tactical display and began highlighting areas around Installation 12. The Nexari think they have discovered evidence of hidden technology near human space. Instead of denying it, we confirm it, but we give them an explanation they can accept, which is, we tell them that Installation 12 is a human research station, one of several that we use to study gravitational phenomena and develop new technologies. We explain that we keep these stations secret because the research is sensitive and could be dangerous if it fell into the wrong hands. Ben leaned forward, understanding where Amanda was going. We make it seem like current human technology, not ancient installations left by transcended ancestors. Exactly, Amanda said. We show them a research facility conducting legitimate scientific work. We answer their questions honestly about what they can observe. But we do not volunteer information about the installation's true purpose or capabilities. Grant was quiet for a long moment, considering the proposal. It is risky. If they ask the wrong questions, or if their scans reveal more than we expect, the deception could collapse. The current deception is already collapsing, Amanda pointed out. At least this way, we control how it happens. Sarah looked up from her monitoring station. Sir, there is something else. Installation 12 reports that it has been monitoring Nexori communications. The ships out there are not just explorers. They are part of a larger investigation into human capabilities. The Nexari government has been questioning human population figures, economic output, and military strength for months. They suspect that humanity is either hiding something significant or that we are not what we appear to be, Grant said grimly. Then giving them a partial truth might actually work, Amanda said. If they think they have discovered our secret research installations, they might stop looking for other explanations. Grant made his decision. All right, we try it your way, Amanda. But if this goes wrong, Installation 12 has authorization to defend itself by any means necessary. He opened a communication channel to Installation 12. 7, are you monitoring this conversation? I, came the AI's musical voice. The plan has merit, Director Grant. I can reconfigure my exterior appearance to resemble a human research facility. The internal systems that the Nexari will be able to scan can be made to appear consistent with advanced but comprehensible technology. What about your consciousness? Amanda asked. They will detect the AI systems. I will present myself as an advanced computer network, sophisticated but within the realm of current galactic technology, 7 replied. The Nexari expects humans to have some advanced capabilities. A highly developed artificial intelligence will not surprise them. Over the next 16 hours, Amanda watched as Installation 7 worked with incredible precision to transform itself. The crystalline towers and energy bridges were concealed behind projected images of metal corridors and research laboratories. The vast consciousness that spanned millions of years compressed itself into the appearance of a powerful but conventional AI system. When the Nexari ships finally arrived at Installation 12, they found exactly what Amanda had hoped they would find. A large human research station conducting studies into gravitational manipulation and space-time distortion. Admiral Vecna, the Nexar commander, was initially suspicious. His ships maintained a safe distance while conducting detailed scans of the installation. Human vessel, this is Admiral Vecna of the Nexari Republic. You are operating a military installation in violation of galactic treaties regarding undisclosed defensive structures. Grant, acting as the installation's commander, responded calmly. Admiral, this is Research Station 12, a civilian facility conducting gravitational studies. We maintain operational security because our research involves potentially dangerous experimental technologies. Our scans indicate that your station has mass and energy outputs far exceeding any known human research facility, the Admiral replied. That is correct, Grant said. We are studying artificial gravitational field generation and controlled space-time distortion. These experiments require massive amounts of energy and specialized equipment. That is why we conduct them in remote locations. Amanda held her breath as she listened to the exchange. Everything depended on whether the Nexari would accept this explanation or push for more detailed information. We request permission to board your station and verify your research claims, Admiral Vecna said after a long pause. Permission granted, Grant replied. However, for safety reasons, we can only allow a small inspection team into the public areas of the station. Some of our experiments are too dangerous to approach without specialized protective equipment. 2 hours later, Amanda watched through security cameras as 3 Nexari officers toured the carefully prepared sections of Installation 12. Had done an incredible job creating the illusion of a legitimate research facility. The aliens saw laboratories filled with gravitational field generators, computer systems analyzing space-time distortion patterns, and human scientists conducting what appeared to be cutting-edge but understandable research. Your gravitational studies are quite advanced. One of the Nexari officers commented to the human researcher escorting them. We have been working on these projects for several decades, the researcher replied truthfully. Humanity's always been interested in understanding the fundamental forces of the universe. When the inspection was completed, Admiral Vecna seemed satisfied, but not entirely convinced. Commander Grant, your research station is impressive, but it does not explain all of the gravitational anomalies we have detected in this region. There are 12 research stations positioned throughout the outer territories, Grant said, sticking to the cover story they had prepared. Each one studies different aspects of gravitational phenomena. The combined effects of their experiments create complex field interactions that might appear anomalous to outside observers. 12 stations, the Admiral repeated. All conducting similar research? Coordinated research, Grant corrected. Each station focuses on different variables, but they share data and coordinate experiments to maximize the scientific value of their work. Amanda realized that Grant was taking a calculated risk by admitting to multiple installations. If the Nexari investigated further and found that there were actually hundreds of installations rather than 12, the deception would be exposed. But admitting to a limited number of research stations might satisfy their curiosity while concealing the true scope of the installation network. Admiral Vecna was quiet for several minutes, apparently consulting with his government through subspace communications. Finally, he spoke again.